Hello, my friend, Brandon Watts.
Okay, we are here. Hello. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Wonderful. Wonderful to be here on this beautiful platform of the Being You Day, the judgment free zone. I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful I get to be on with you.
Me too. And I was pondering about this morning, and I was just pondering about the judgment-free zone, and I was like, just that. Wow, what would it be like to have a lot more of that? Let's jump into this topic because this is an interesting one, I think, for both of us.
Yes. And the
You have
title
it
of this
because,
top, oh, do you want me to say it?
yes, please.
What could you be for yourself that you've been waiting for someone else to be for you? That is the topic.
Oh boy. Um, This has been such an interesting one for me personally, and I'm still a work in progress on this one. And one of the things that showed up for me a lot over the years was I would have certain people who I really care about and trust bring up for me. They were like, "Hey, is there anywhere that you just want other people to create this for you so that you can kind of be on the sidelines?" And I had so much defense of it and would hide from it so much until I guess, well, a lot more recently where I started looking at it and I was like, huh, I think I do that a lot more than where I've actually acknowledged. And I just want to throw something in here real quick with this that I was looking at this morning. I went for a run and I was just running and I wasn't really having that much fun. And I realized in my world, I had this underlying judgment there of like, am I running right? Am I doing this right? Am I getting it right? And I was just like, are you kidding? I'm judging myself for running. Judgment free zone, people. And I was like, you know what? Enough. So I started looking at it and going, okay, so if I could, what would it be like if I approached everything with with asking for what would be joyful with this? Like, what if I actually had joy with this? And it was interesting. And I bring that up because what I've realized in my world with looking at, say, something like this, of having this thing in my world where I didn't really want to look at it, of having other people create my life and, and wanting to kind of sit back on the sidelines. And I was I I would always keep it hidden from me.
Mm.
And I see where we do that so much rather than what would it be like if we could look at anything that shows up in our world from this space of no judgment. Like from this sense of, you know what, I've got this here and from there begin to be able to unpack it from with the tools, with questions of who does that belong to? Like, where did that even come from?
Yeah. And I've been looking at this and I was kind of chuckling that we had this question, right? Of, what are you not willing to be for you? But also this space of judgment. And I remember reading my very first manual, it might have been in foundation, where it said that if you're actually asking for consciousness, like judgment cannot exist in consciousness. I mean, and consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, not even judgment. And somehow in my world, I thought consciousness excluded judgment. So I made judgment wrong. So in that part
Mm,
of, so if I'm making judgment wrong, I'm making me wrong if I'm judging. So then what occurs then is that I start to hide everywhere I am judging because I don't want to see it because I think I should be being something else. So for me, it's like you said, that work in progress of going, wow, what are my blind spots? But what I noticed the other day, just a glimpse, even if it was a short little piece, that there was this lightness in starting to look at areas where I didn't want to look at. And I thought, that's strange. And then for the first time, oh, is that a glimpse of no judgment? What I think, or what, when you're looking, it's because for me personally, when you're looking at something that doesn't work, a lot of stuff comes up. And like you said, those hidden judgment spaces. And so it's that willingness to go, okay, if I didn't judge me here, what could I receive from this? What is actually here and underneath here that I haven't been willing to see? In that space of vulnerability, that's one of the things that I'm asking for to be for me instead of,
yeah.
and not waiting for someone else to be that for me.
Well, yeah, truly. And that. that hidden thing, like I see where we do that so much with what you
Yeah.
said, with, well, let me not be present with the areas of my life that I judge myself or that I see myself as less than. Rather than, what would it be like if we gave ourselves the freedom to go, you know, where am I being less than? Like actually began from that question of where am I actually choosing to live my life as less than what I know I came here to be, or even what, however that shows up for you, because each and every one of us are different with that also. But give ourselves the freedom to look at it and go, oh my God, I'm a little bit of an idiot in this area. But do it from that space of joy, do it from that space of allowance, do it from that space of no judgment. Because, man, I know for me, especially in the last couple of years where I've given myself, I had a lot more demand in myself, of myself, to look at things where I'm like, okay, I'm not being who I would like to be in this area. And I used to, that were the things that I used to just hide from myself. And one of the things we know is we cannot change anything that we keep hidden from us. So what I started doing was, and once again, still a work in progress with this, was going, okay, so what would it be like if I could be with this from this space of no judgment?
Mhm. And that space of being that for you in the space of no judgment, it is one of the greatest gifts for the Being You classes and book. I remember my very first class, it was that sense of like, what do you mean there's something here that's valuable and beautiful and great? You know, looking at my childhood and how I was brought up, it was always, you got to look at what's wrong with you. Basically, you're always wrong. And if you don't know that, let me tell you. So that structure of growing up in that, it's like, it really, I mean, this is where I would love everybody watching and listening to be kind with you. What if that was the one thing we could be for ourselves? Because if we're starting to undo those structures, those ways that we thought we had to be to function in our family or in the world that aren't true, it's gonna take maybe a little. And just that kindness and space of going, hey, what if you're not wrong here?
Yeah,
And that's where the
truly.
tools, access consciousness in the Being You book is that, what's right about you, you're not getting. What's right about this, you're not getting. And there's that space where it shifts something energetically, and yet it's this ongoing muscle of using the tools over and over again to really go, wow, there is so much underneath that I don't really believe there's something great in me. Because underneath, if I keep going, I actually think I'm going to see more of the wrongness of me. And that's my sense of what I've been doing. It's like, wow, if I unbury that rock, underneath that's going to be a, when you pick up a rock and there's all the worms and all the different things underneath it that have been festering in there. That's what I was believing, that if I take that rock off, that I'm going to see the worst thing ever that I've been hiding from me.
Well, and one of the things that I love about Access is, we've both been around for a while.
Mm,
And so like in looking at the things we look at now, for me, the way I see the Access tools is they're ever expanding. Like I'm continuously getting schooled in the tools that are in the bars manual. And so with it's
true
truly
story.
like I was facilitating a class in Saudi recently, and someone was like, yeah, I've done the foundation. And I was like, you've done the foundation. I'm still doing it. Like I'm still doing that class every day. And I think I will be, always doing the foundation, because the tools in it, as you begin to get more of a sense of what that tool is as the energy of it, it's interesting with even unpacking things in your life, because you could look at that thing of, well, if I unpack this, I'm going to get to more wrongness, or I'm going to get to more of that sense of less than me. Who who does that belong to? Like, boy, I don't know about you, but I definitely grew up with people who like to avoid everything.
Yeah.
And so even you mentioned this thing with kindness, and I'm like, I'm even looking at that and I'm like, boy, what I grew up with what people would judge kindness as, rather than be the energy of what true kindness is, was not kindness.
No.
And so kindness for me, what I'd learned was, kindness for me was avoid everything that you didn't like about yourself, so that you didn't see it, so that you could be kind to yourself based on a lie of who you are. And one of the things also that I've probably learned a lot more in the last couple of years, I guess, is kindness is the willingness to look at all of you, like the willingness to give yourself, have the space to look at everything that shows up in your world from a space of no judgment, but not from this thing of avoidance. So for me, one of the things that I had to, like, I've had countless strong talks with myself where it would be like, what, you're choosing this for what reason? Look at what this is creating. Is this truly what you desire to be in the world? And even today with this thing with judgment, I was like, I did not get that I had this underlying judgment in my world of every, and here's the thing with it also is most of it's energetic. It's not like you're in your head going, oh my God, I can't run and I look like an idiot. And I'm, like, am I stepping right? No, am I, whatever. But it was all this energetic sense of just this underlying judgment in my world. And so I started looking at it with different choices. And I was like, holy shit, I think I have this in a lot of different areas in my life.
And I'm glad you brought up that, like, where we think it all lives in our head and where so much is locked in energetically. Because for me, the one tool that has been such a gift, if I'm willing to let go of my mind, it's that light and heavy. So truth, am I judging myself here? And I'm not, but that lightness, if you're running and it's light, most likely you're not judging you. But if there starts to be, like you said at the beginning, right, you're running, there's that
It's
heaviness.
like,
Yeah, that face. So then that's when you'll know there's something there.
running should be joyful,
Yeah, especially if you're
just
doing it in
saying.
the heat.
But so should living. Like everything should
Yes.
come from us, come with a sense of joy to it. But also, there was one thing, because see, even with that, I see for a lot of us, and myself included, where I've looked for the easy path with how to do things. Like, let me look for the easy way around this rather than actually ask to have ease with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, one of the first things that well, it was actually the first tool that I got in access was all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. That is still, I'm still using that 10 times in the morning and 10 times at night and 1,000 times through the day. That is my go-to tool because but also I see where I've done this thing in my world where let me look for the easy way. And I just want to say this quickly because it may be a contribution to people. Is a couple of years ago, I was having a conversation with Gary Douglas, and he said, look, you keep looking for the easy choice to make rather than look for what's the hard choice that I can make that's going to create a different possibility. Now, what I did was I took that very literally and was like, okay, now I need to make everything hard so I can prove that I'm doing the right choices. That
Never
was not
done
what
that.
he meant. It's not what he meant. And, and then after a while, I started looking at it and I was like, oh, I really have set this place up in my world where I've looked for the easy way, which kind of matches this topic of what we're talking about. Let me have the easy way. Let me get everyone else to kind of create the other stuff for me. And what I realized was it's easy to judge myself. It's hard to get present with yourself in a moment where you've got a lot of judgment of you and go, enough, like enough, and really make that demand in your world of, I'm going to, even if it's just for the next 10 seconds, I'm going to make a different choice.
And
And
that I would say, Brendan, thank you for that. Because that's also the energy of like having your own back, like willing to
really,
have your own back in the not comfortable areas. That space where, like you said, there's some areas where like you have a lot of ease being you, that space that you're willing, have that joy of living. And then that other area, it's like, okay, are you willing to have your back there and keep choosing and willing to look and be present and not judge you? Like that space is quite an incredible, courageous, I would say, journey that not many people are willing to take. And I'm so grateful you, Brendan, have inspired me so much with what you've chosen and keep choosing and not stop in that space of having your own back. I was like, wow, what if we could look at any area of our lives? And if we don't judge it, it's like, what else is available? So, when I look at the question again, it's like, what could I gift? What was it again? Love it. What could
I'm
you be
glad
for
you're reading
yourself?
it.
What could you be for yourself that you've been waiting for someone else to be for you? But
Yeah.
that space of like, if there was no one else on the planet, would you have your own back? Like, what would you choose? And then with the millions of people on the planet, are you still willing to have your own back and not judge you and know that you could keep choosing?
Yeah. And also, let's well look at maybe for a moment of like, how do you get there? And so
Yeah.
that question alone is so brilliant. What can I be for myself? What can I be for myself today that I've been waiting for somebody else to be for me? What if you didn't have to figure out how to get there? That's the other thing that that I continuously am schooled on is, man, have I tried to figure a lot of things out with how to get there with certain things, rather than just go, you know what can I be for me today? What can I
Mhm.
be for me today that I've been waiting for somebody else to be for me? And, and ask for the things that you would like to be more of. I had a couple of years ago when I started my journey of sobriety, I was talk about strong talks with myself. I was just like, you know what, enough. Either I get out now or get here. And one of the things I did for me was I wrote a list of characteristics or things that I would like to be more of. And at the top of that list was integrity with myself. It was, I like to be a lot more honest with me. And like a lot have a lot more integrity with the willingness to look at things from this space of kindness or from this space of honor, and look at who it is I'd like to be more of. And it's interesting because once again, it is a journey.
It is. And you bring up honor in that space of the five elements of intimacy, where it's like, trust, gratitude, allowance, honor, and what's the other?
Vulnerability. What do you say?
Vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yes. But that space is like to actually have that for ourselves and not wait for anybody else to gift us that. That's huge because then you can be that more in the world. And I would say, the questions that you were saying, there was another one you said at the beginning that was really great. So maybe we'll have to listen to the replay. But yeah, I'm just so grateful to have these questions and this work and this judgment-free zone available for people to know that you don't have to go through life judging you, right? That it isn't about the judgment
Oh,
that's going to create the
what?
change. You
I
don't
think you
have
need
to.
to say,
It's almost like you don't have to use judgment or go through judgment to get to yourself or to live.
well, what you said, which I think was great, is and it was kind of like this throwaway thing of, you don't have to go through your life judging you. And
Yeah,
that that kind of, like, similar to what I was saying before, is I don't know if a lot of us truly get that. Like, we don't actually have to go through our lives judging ourselves. There's a different choice that we have. And what if you could begin to make it? What if the way to actually making it also is not judging the judgment you have of you, not
yeah,
trying to use judgment as some source out of judgment? And now you have more ammunition to make yourself wrong because you're looking at all the things you've made yourself wrong for. What if you could just be with them, allow them to be there? And rather than have to change any of the things in your life, what if the space of you being you with it, like actually going, okay, so today I'm not going to try and change this. Today I'm going to be me with it. And in that, see how that is for you at the end of the day. Like, I mean, if I could, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try that too for me. But take something in your life, I guess, that you've been like desperately trying to judge yourself out of choosing, or you've been desperately trying to change, and go, you know what? I am not going to try and change this today. I'm going to be me with it. What else is possible here that I've never considered? See what that's like at the end of the day.
beautiful. And I would also add too, for those of you that do have that lightness and joy that you have made wrong because other people don't have it, like also being willing to have that. Like that willingness to have also that lightness and joy that's there for you that maybe no one else is choosing. Because I find myself also going into other people's worlds and then thinking I got to be like everyone else, that if I'm actually, if there isn't heaviness, or I'm like sad, that, or I'm not sad about something, or then something must be wrong. So it could be this ongoing twist, and the willingness to go, okay, what is true for you? What is that lightness? Like, as you explore this, it might sound totally insane, but if it's light, then that's more true for you than the heaviness.
I
And
don't think it
invite
sounds
us.
totally insane.
No.
I think that, and that's one of the beautiful things about access, is it's about empowering you to know that you know,
Yes.
empowering you and recognizing that, wait a minute, what if I am the one who the one who actually knows most about what's true for me? But with that, also recognize, what if I'm also the one who knows most about what's not true for me?
Yeah.
So with that, allowing yourself to go on that journey, not thinking that you have to go on it alone based on that, but also recognize that you're the one who knows what's true for you. And each and every one of us has a unique way of perceiving that for ourselves, of knowing that for ourselves, of receiving that for ourselves. So that question of, like, what would actually be joyful for me? What would kindness for me be? What would allowance? What would no judgment for me be?
So I'm going to take on exactly what you invited us all to, and making that list is like, who would I like to, how would I, what was it? Who would I like to be in the world? How would I like to show up in the world? What is it that I would like to have as my life in living? And then just
Yeah.
start to explore that. But from the space of no judgment, it's not to fix anything. It's actually to see, what can I add? What can I be today? And know that you can always add and change it. And none of it is right or wrong. You just get to explore what is true for you and would make your life and living greater. That may invite way more to everyone else around you.
Yes. And I want to say one other thing. I think
Yes.
just one other thing. When you can begin to look from this space of no judgment and have that as a gift for you in your world, what would it be like if even the things that you would have judged because they're not working or not showing up the way that you think they should, what if you could look at it and go, look at everything and go, okay, so if I wasn't to judge this, what would be the gift in it for more awareness? And this, boy, is that easy to say and not so easy to choose. Because one of the things that, once again, like, I talk a lot about, I use my sobriety as something, as like something to reach upon, to talk about, because for me it's just been a schooling in me,
Yeah.
total schooling in myself. And with that, I was like, let's say you've got something in your world where you're like, yeah, I can get out of judgment in this area, but this, man, do I have so much wrongness of me with this, and this is just the area. And you may have it as one of those things that's just unchangeable. I really had that, and so I had to get really present with it and be like, okay, so first of all, how much am I choosing to have this wrongness of me in this area so that I can maintain victimhood to it, so that once again I can get somebody else to come along and get me out of it, with this whole topic of what we're talking about today. And I was like, you know what, no. And I really started looking at, what's the gift in this that I'm not acknowledging? If I wasn't to judge this, what awareness could I get from it? And from that, it was so helpful. So I offer that as a possibility for people, with looking at those areas where you just tend to be a little hard on yourself. Are you being a little hard on yourself so that somebody else can create you out of it? Or, like, what are you choosing that for?
And the willingness to also reach out and ask for help. Like, if things are challenging and hard, like, do you have someone that will ask you a question, that will be there for you to guide you to what is true for you? So, and are you willing, like Brendan said, and I enjoy that energy of like, wow, are you willing to be the question for yourself as well, and explore that? That taking 10, 15 minutes, half a day, whatever that is for you, to just go, wow, if I wasn't wrong here, if I didn't have to judge me here,
True
what
story.
else is possible?
Yeah.
So
And what else? Truly, what else is possible? I'm so
And
grateful for this, the judgment-free zone, but also for everyone who's put this together. But I want to give a shout out also to Dane,
yes.
in being the one who created this from the beginning, but such a driving force for all of us,
And he's,
in more awareness of what you can actually be in the world. I'm not quite sure how to put words to the
yeah,
gratitude I would like to give him, but also, but that and the being you classes. Oh,
I would say in the courage to bring the book, the class out when it wasn't popular. You know, now being you is a popular topic and you see it in many, many places. But that courage to keep going and really sharing from a vulnerable space all his changes has inspired thousands of people around the world and keeps inspiring me. And with that, I would love to invite everyone. I mean, if you're on here, you know about the Being You Day, share it, invite people. Dane is very generous in so many ways, and he's also gifting everyone that June 22nd, that special event that he has for the International Being You Day. So if you'd like your ticket, go to beingyouday.com.
yeah,
Mini commercial,
beingyouday.com.
beingyouday.com. So
Okay.
well, I wish everyone more and more, may that space of judgment-free zone be a reality for you as you step in and choose whatever you choose in life, as you begin to include you maybe perhaps more than you ever have before. So thank you,
Yes.
Brandon.
What are the infinite possibilities for you all, beautiful people? Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us.
And thank you, everyone in the back. We have translators and so many amazing people. So thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia.
What else is possible?
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.